Hey everyone, I want to give you guys a pond update. I gotta tell you guys, this is the driest fall that I have seen in the last 15 years. Uh, the pond is probably down to about 50%, but less than 50%. It's about a 5,000 gallon pond. It's probably just below 2,000 gallons now, based on some measurements that I took. If you look over here, you can see how the water level has dropped. Um, at this end over here, at least a foot and a half. And if I go to the deepest end, because it's no, I think at the deepest point it's like 4 foot when this pond is completely full, right? When we get some heavy rains and it overflows, and it's just below 2 feet now. If you look over here, this area over here that I'm standing on, I mean, this is where the frogs were laying their eggs in the spring, and you can see how I've kind of carved it out so that the water flows down naturally into the pond. So it's just been a very dry fall. I mean, there's probably enough of a water reserve over there that it should be fine. I mean, we're also in the fall now, so we don't get really hot weather, so it's not as evaporating as fast. So I'm sure the rains are coming. It's like it was rain. Like last week, it was raining just like 30 miles from here. I mean, they had like 3 straight days of rain. Up here on the mountain, we just had some light drizzles, which is kind of strange because usually it's reverse. We usually get a lot more rain up here where it's about 2,000 feet up elevation, and it tends to be drier at lower altitudes. But yeah, so this pond's it's like an S shape that's about 90 feet long. It's got some goldfish in there, some rosy reds, and some koi that I've put in there, plus a ton of frogs. So this point right here, because this pond, like, this is like the halfway point. Up until this point over here is where I think that the fish would be able to survive. Any fish that have been trapped from this point back, I mean, there's like maybe an inch of water here, but that's going to run out of oxygen very quickly from this point. I mean, there's only a couple of feet back from here, right? And then once you get to like this point over here, it's just like at this point over here, it's just like wet mud, basically. This area over here, where that cone is, like if we get a heavy rain, the water will go all the way to that cone in the back. And this area here is like just completely dry. You can see where the grass, where the grass is growing over here, like in a semicircle. That's kind of like the perimeter of the pond when it's full. So it's very interesting. What I've done is I've filled up, like I've used the opportunity to fill it up with what's normally referred to as structure. So I filled it up with all these branches and tree bark and a couple of small stumps in there, because that's going to create like places where the fish can lay eggs. When the pond fills back up, mostly in the spring. I mean, at this point, it's probably a little bit too late in the season. But yeah, so I've added a lot of structure in there, and also these branches are going to keep the heron out, because the heron annihilated the fish by the time I caught on to it, because it basically comes early in the morning. A couple of times I caught it midday, but I think it annihilated my fish. It ate all the big ones. There's still some small ones in there, and they're gonna grow and breed. So now, which is not to say that the heron has left my property, because I do have a stream about 150 yards from here. I'm sorry, not 150, 150 feet from here. So I got a stream 150 feet from here that the heron has been fishing based on the poop that I have found over there. So let's go take a quick look at that. So if you look at these dead trees here, the heron really likes to sit at the top and observe, and just an interesting observation. It likes to sit on the top of these dead trees here, because from here, because they're dead, there's not too much. It's an open area. It's got a very large wingspan. It's able to fly around in this area. So we're going to come up on a stream that runs through the property, and it's full of like little baby trout. I'll try and be quiet, but I think that this is the area that the heron is now fishing. Oh, there's one right there. It's like in the middle of the screen. a little trout. They're small, they're about 2 inches. So the way this stream no, they're moving towards the other side. So the way this stream is set up, like when it's dry, like right now, it does kind of get blocked off. Like you'll see where there's branches that have and trees that have fallen over there. So right now they're kind of limited to this pool over here that that extends out. Let's say maybe maybe it extends 60 to 80 feet in this direction, and then they've got about 30 feet in this direction. So they're kind of trapped in here. Oh, there's a trout right there. They're kind of trapped in here until like we get some heavy rains, and then when we get heavy rains, the water rises, and then these they're able to move more freely up and down the stream. Okay, so yeah, I don't think that heron's going away anytime soon because of these trout that I got here in this stream. If we look over here, we can see some fresh heron poop droppings. So yeah, there's a stream that's like its favorite tree right there. And also this one here, I love sitting at the top of these trees. It does it mostly in the like early mornings, and if it sees me, it generally goes away. Hey, well, I just want to real quick. The last time it rained here, which was about 2 months ago, where we got like a heavy rain, the water basically had come all the way up to this level right here where my foot was, and you can see it's basically at this point over here, it looks like it's like more than 2.5 feet down from this point here. And this is like the midpoint of the pond. This is the area that I told you before, where this is as far as I see any fish being able to live. The little bit of water that's on the right over here, I mean, it's like an inch. That's not going to sustain fish. If there's any fish trapped in there. As you can see over there, I added some bark. Basically, I made them a nice nest, so that when this thing fills back up, I assume that we're going to the fall. So we're just going to get probably going to get like 2 weeks of straight rain to make up for the 2 months of no rain. That's probably what's going to end up happening. But when that fills back up, then this area over here, like I've created like a nest for them. That's going to be a good egg laying place over there. So you can see over there, I put lots of bark and half of a tree trunk in there. So yeah, I wanted to kind of make a record for myself of what this looks like when we get like a 2-month drought. It hasn't been a complete drought, but it just hasn't been enough rain to to sustain it, to fill up the pond, in about 2 months, or even just raise the water level up any meaningful amount.